Today, we're going to build a $100,000 live dashboard that you can either give to your clients or use for your own business. So what does it look like? The $100,000 dashboard. This is going to be flipping epic. So technology we're going to use Bolt.New. We're going to use Claude. We're going to be using something called Airtable. And of course, Meg.com for all the incredible no-code AI automations. Now, why on earth would you want to build a 100K dashboard? Well, I'll show you exactly how you do it step by step in this video. There are many things that we may want to include in this dashboard. Now, the beauty of this is we can add anything we want to. Some ideas for you. Number one, financial. How much money have you, if you're an AI automation agency, made this individual? So when we're working with clients, we figure out, look, what are the pound and pence impacts? What are the time-saving impacts? And also, what are the other metrics we think about? How much money you've made them, how much money you've saved them. You can include things there like profit and loss. So for example, the one that I built, it's connected to a live Airtable database that will show you how to set up dynamically, like how many conversations they've had. We can use things there like the operating profit, profit margin, expenses year to date, with loads of cool graphs and loads of crazy stuff that's going on. On top of that, guys, we're going to ROI. So how much per money they spent with you have they made back? Now think about it, like there's no easier way to differentiate yourself than an awesome, cool dashboard that just makes you look epic. Then we've got time, so how much time they saved, time to launch, so how quickly do we get things active? How much time is uptime in terms of like your automations, how long are they running for? How many employees worth of value have you saved? And then there's also general stuff based on the automations that we do, like how many conversations they had, how many calls has your AI agent or AI employee had, and also how many leads you've got. On top of that, we're also going to add in a chatbot, which we're going to run through Make and Claude. So for example, our customers, our clients, or even people in their own business are going to be able to have a chat interface where they can ask you very simple questions. And we're going to train that on our own database, our own emails, our own knowledge. And from that, we can give them a realistic answer in our own tone of voice. And finally, just to keep this really simple, because I wanted to make this as simple as possible, what we're going to do is add this passkey functionality into it. So we're going to give an ID to every client. And what we're going to do in Bolt.New is when we develop this is, and you could even see here, for example, if I refresh this page as a quick for instance, while this all loads up, what's going to happen is every time a client comes to log in or lands on the page, they have to enter a unique ID, which we give per client, which basically means that other clients aren't going to be able to access the ones that we want. So as this loads up, for example, you'll see, enter your passkey. They need to enter the appropriate passkey to get the data for them, which just makes it really easy to launch and get started. You can, of course, do this with other things and add like login credentials and connect it to Firebase. I just wanted to keep this super simple and easy that you could just follow along with and absolutely smash. So with that in mind, if you haven't already, grab that coffee and let's dive straight in. Incredible. So to get started, we're going to head back over again to codepen.io like I showed you in my last video. The one that we're going to use is this one here. I'll put a link down below in the description. And then we're going to head over to Bolt.New. I'm going to give it the following prompt. I've kind of built this prompt out using AI, but essentially what we're saying is, look, we want to create a module, a responsive, React-based interactive dashboard that integrates with Airtable using a user-provided base ID. So this is going to enable us to get whatever we show in Airtable to show on our new incredible AI application. The problem with this is that if you show it, it just looks a bit lame. But what doesn't look lame is this, which is why we're going to use that and just drive with it instead, okay? So we come back over, we give it the prompt, we talk about authentication, we talk about automations, vision solutions. By the way, all the prompt agents blueprints for all the automations are down below my Skull community, so you can check that out and grab it if you'd like to. We talk about different tabs that we want, display top conversations, blah, 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 all this really cool information. Then we're going to say, hey, use the below code to create this. Awesome. And what I really love about this, guys, and if we come back over into this, okay, so copy the CSS, come over here, pop that in, beautiful. And then one more time, I'm going to come down to the JS Babel, come back over here, and then paste that in. Boom, and then it gets started. So what I really like about this, guys, is the fact that you think about when you're talking to clients and you're having those conversations, actually having an interactive dashboard that can clearly show in pounds and pence, in really beautiful interactive styles, everything going on in the background, how much money they've made, how much time they've saved, is just such an easy way to differentiate yourselves. The biggest issue I see with people in AI automation agencies is they're not able to articulate the value they had. If you can actually just show an interactive dashboard they can log into, it just takes you from your perceived value being here to way up there. And if you've got to show the information anyway, why the hell would you not set this up? Now, what other thing I'm going to show you here is how we can actually have our scenarios, okay, that run in the background, how then we're going to dynamically update them into Airtable. And then from Airtable, it's going to reflect immediately into the dashboard, which means when you have these automations running for clients, and every time, let's say, a conversation happens when something's going on, we can update a number in Airtable and therefore update what our cool new database looks like. Incredible, and that's complete. We have this Airtable base ID. So in the problem that I had, one of the things I asked it for is that every client's going to give a unique Airtable ID, and once they give that Airtable ID, it will then grab that code and then grab the information from that Airtable and display what's within it. So in a way, what this kind of is like an Airtable wrapper, like enable us to create beautiful visualizations, but then alongside that, we can then have interactive chat functionalities and loads of other really epic AI apps. So we've got this, for instance, let me now then go and grab a random number. So if you go over to your Airtable ID, this is just a random table. We're going to build one together in a moment, okay? You click on share and sync, and you can see this here, right? Opens up in a new one. You're going to copy the information after the hashtag. We're going to copy the shareable URL, and then we're going to come back over to our beautiful page, base ID, enter the link in, then click on connect to dashboard. Okay, and a few problems. So let's check out what the problems are and click here, for instance. And since it's got problems, we come down and we click on attempt fix. So obviously there's always going to be some back and forth with Bolt as we get things set up. And the cool thing is, if something doesn't work, we'll just ask, we iterate, we go back and forth, and then it'll start implementing everything together. Now, the automation that I'm going to use to show you how this works and how you could actually do that. Now, the first thing I'd always recommend that you do, take a step back, think about what are the metrics that are really going to matter for my client or my business. It's not always about a lot of random metrics, but if you're selling, for example, a chatbot, what would be really cool to know? Number of issues resolved, or number of conversations that have been had, or if you can get their financial P&L, or whatever it is, think long and hard about the numbers that make sense and the numbers that will add value based on the clients that you're going for. Now, this is just learning the background. I did an automation a couple of weeks ago, excuse me, that essentially you can train on every single email that you ever have. This one is a chatbot, for example, right? It would look at every single email that you get, learn your tone of voice, add it to a database so you could have 10,000 different emails, and it would know exactly what to say and how to respond to you. So this here is the chatbot, and I'll show you what that looks like right over here. It's an email that sounds exactly like you, okay? And the way that this would work is we have a chatbot, an email comes in, we basically do some really cool stuff with in terms of indexing and pinecone, and it would then basically create an email for you. Or we could do a chatbot version where basically you ask a question and it comes back. Now, what we're gonna do here, guys, is we're gonna add something in here that essentially is gonna act as like a counter. So every time that we have a conversation with somebody, it's gonna update in the dashboard, basically in live time. Now, you could basically use the same thing for anything. This is just to show you how the technology works. Cool, so this is come back up my work now. It says enter in the Airtable ID, and let's have a look at what we've got. Well, there we go. Check this out. We've got a dashboard overview. So again, we enter ID, we connect to the dashboard, and look at this, guys. Automations with 103, efficiency scores 98, total conversations is 232, financial overview, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff down. And then we have this AI assistant in the bottom right-hand corner where we can ask it questions. Sweet. So what we need to do now is create an Airtable ID, give it some dummy data, and then test that it's all working effectively. So to do that, what are we going to do? We're going to head over to airtable.com, excuse me, oh my goodness. I'm going to create a brand new thing. So come down the bottom left-hand corner, click on start from scratch. Now let's think of some silly dummy data here. So if we call this one, let's just say client information, and then we will have a little fire emoji. Cool. All right, sweet. So let's on the first one, we'll have this one called automations. And then, oops, yeah, automations is fine. And the second one, let's call this one something like, I don't know, efficiencies. These are just random numbers, by the way, guys, random sort of fields. Let's enter to the left, and we'll call this one month. Great, okay. And then what we'll do, change primary field, that's absolutely right. And then we'll just add in all this fake data. Awesome, so I've got this fake information now going from January to August, with automations, efficiencies, income, and expenses. So what we're going to do to Bolt now, and you'll need to do this based on what your particular use cases are. So for example, I'm going to say here, I would like 2 graphs, okay? Graph 1 will be a line graph for fields, and let's just see what fields we had. Basically, automations and efficiencies, automations and efficiencies with months on the bottom from the month field. And let's just make sure that, oh my gosh, we sort of correct spelling as we go. Cool. And then graph 2 will be the same, will be a line graph. And again, whatever graph you want, just specify it for the fields, income and expenses with the months on the bottom, the month field. Okay, cool. Let me come over to share and sync. I'm gonna click on here. We will go for create a link to view. Cool, we're gonna copy that link here, and then we come back over to Bolt and just say, hey, pull through the data from this form, and just say the full URL link will also be the password for the Airtable base ID. If you cannot basically pull up an Airtable ID, just say record not found. Beautiful. And is there anything else we need to add? I think that'll be okay for us at the moment. Actually, there's one thing. Yes, add confetti after successful link. Awesome. Oh, and then one other thing we should add actually is a screenshot of this to show, hey, this is what the table, what the actual thing is called, and also what the columns are called. So let's just copy that. Clipboard, come back over. I've attached an image with the name of the table and the columns for your reference. And obviously this will just differ very slightly based on your own preferences and what data that you're using. Now, with the beautiful thing about this, guys, is that as this data updates, it too should then dynamically update within Bolt.New, which I think is pretty flippin' epic. The Airtable base ID, if you wanted to kind of disguise the Airtable thing, I just wouldn't call it Airtable base ID. I just call it, let's say I have an automation agency called Jax AI Automations. I'd say Jax AI Automations, enter unique code. They don't need to know that it's from Airtable. It just, I mean, like, this looks like you've spent hundreds of thousands. I mean, I've actually physically seen businesses that have spent, you honestly don't even want to know how much money, building databases, building dashboards that don't even come close to this. Like, this is live right now today. You follow this video, you do it, you crush it. You've got something that is absolutely flipping incredible. So we can disguise, you know, where the data's coming from. From this perspective, it's just seeing the Airtable data, it's grabbing it, and it's putting in an epic style that we think looks really, really cool. Okay, so it's landed. So let's enter in, we need to get the actual share links. Let's come back over, share and sync, copy the link, come back over to Bolt and enter in there, and then connect the dashboard. Record not found, please find your base ID. All right, sweet, let's have a look. Not found. Okay, so just say, hey, we are, and maybe we just need to actually add the base ID, which I believe is this bit here, right? So it's either that or that. So if I come in and click on connect the dashboard, that doesn't work. And does this one work? No. Hey, we are not being permitted entry when we enter the Airtable share link URL. Cool. And then we come back over to Airtable. We're going to copy that, come back over here, boom. Now we hit enter. And then basically you'll go to this troubleshooting stuff, which is why I've left it in the video, so you can see how we actually solve it in real time. All right, cool. So apparently it's done its changes. Let's test this one right here. Connect to dashboard. Unable to access the Airtable base, please check that you share the link. So let's come over here. Potential problem detected. Error fetching Airtable data. Authentication required. Awesome. So we need to provide a valid API key. Now, I did this in the last one I used. I wanted to see if I could avoid using it, but I'm going to show you how you get an API key to connect Airtable with Bolt. So guys, what we need to do is head over to airtable.com/create/API key. And you're going to click on this button that says create token. We come over, we click on create new token. We give it a name like build together, like so. Look at the scopes. I'm going to basically let it read records. Of course, you can let it write. So weirdly, what we can actually do here, guys, is let the individual update the records in the Airtable if you want to. So that's another functionality where they're actually affecting the Airtable, and then it itself then goes on to trigger new automations. So say, for example, you have, let's say you're doing social media posts, okay? And it shows them the social media posts in the dashboard and they don't like it. And then they change some copy, or basically like, I'm happy with that. That can then trigger an automation and make that says when a change is made, trigger X automation. Loads of those kind of automations in the community on the channel. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Now, access, add a base, all current and future bases I'm going to select. We'll just need root permissions for this one, and then we'll click on create token. You'll be given then a really cool API key. How cool is it? Maybe it's not that cool. I don't know. Then when you come back over then to Bolt like so, I'm going to say, hey, the API key require is this. Oh my goodness, guys, what is going on my spine today? I think I need another flat wire, right? Oh my goodness. Basically, then enter your API key, hit enter, and then continue the conversation with Bolt. Okay, so let's try this one again. Come back and paste your Airtable share URL. Again, change that if you want to. Connect to dashboard, and is it going to work for us? Dun dun dun. It does, and we are officially in, right? So let's just check this is correct. So it's gone April, August, Feb, Jan, July, June, March, May. So if I go on Feb, 15 automations and 72 efficiencies. Let's just check that that's correct. Where are we at on this now? Actually, which date was that? Okay, let's go for, really simple. Let's go for Jan. 67 and 12. There you go. 67 efficiencies, 12 in automations. That is pretty cool. And the income is $48,500 in January. So we come back over to January. Where are we now? $48,500. Guys, and just like that, it's brought in all the data. So I think what we'd say then is like, look, let's have Jan at the beginning and April, let's just move everything back so it actually works. Just say, hey, looks great. However, let's start the month Jan, Feb, March, etc. in sequence. By the way, the reason why it does that is sometimes Airtable can be a bit weird when it pulls through data. So hey, in sequence, the current one is starting with, I don't know, with April. Now, the next thing we want to do is get the live counter update. So what will happen is every time you update these numbers, guys, in here, it will update the numbers there, which is awesome. But now let's show you how you can connect that to an automation, to like a live counting automation, for example. So let's come back over, let's add that. And then why don't we also add, hey, let's add a predict future function as well. And then finally, you see this thing down here, guys, we've got the hello, I'm your AI assistant. How can I help you today? Just so to say the AI assistant send the information to this webhook. Okay, beautiful. Now, let's have a look at this one. This is an automation, by the way. This blueprint is available down below in the school community. This Pinecone thing, by the way, guys, just lets you update. Like, imagine if I gave it like 20,000 emails or 20,000, because like, if you've got an AI automation agency, what I recommend you do is you have every page on your website. You have every perceivable question they could ask. We can upload that to this Pinecone database using this gathering cleansing automation, using this upsert vector automation, and then using this one here. It will then look and basically, based on all the thousands of different pieces of data sets you got, pull through the most 10 relevant sheets of paper that you think is relevant, and then send back a response, which is flipping crazy. So come on this webhook is a quick for instance. I'll show you how to build this in the video. I'll put a link on screen so you can check that out or get the automation blueprints in the community. I'm going to come here and we are going to go over to Bolt. I'm going to say, hey, send it to this webhook, hit enter, and then go. So then basically what will happen, guys, is the second that this gets a piece of information, it will then send it over. Basically, we'll have something in the middle, like our AI brain. We'll grab some stuff from Pinecone, or it could be anything you want to, and then it will send it over. Now, for the purposes of this, I'm just going to delete these really quickly. What I'm going to do is add two separate things. The first thing I'm going to add here, now this is like a really simple way to count up, or let's just say one of the things we want to track is how many conversations or how many chats has this sent? How many messages has our chatbot sent? First thing I do is this increment function, okay? So what this will do is every time this is triggered, it will go +1, +2, +3, +4. Then we come over to Airtable, like so. I'm going to go to, I believe it is going to be update a record, upsert a record. So upsert a record is either to update or insert a record. Cool, so we come to base, we click on client information, which is the Airtable base for that client. In this case, it would be client A, client B, client C, blah, blah, blah. Go on the table. What I recommend we do, guys, is let's actually just add a second table here. Start from scratch. Call this one table 2, which is number of X, okay? And on the name, what we're going to say is we'll just say, hey, this one could be number of automations, okay? Cool. And then that's just for simplicity's sake, delete these other fields so nothing crazy or mad happens. All right, sweet. And then we've got this field here, which will be the total number of automations, or basically total number of, not automations, let's just say messages. All right. Now, once I show you how to do it for messages, you can do it for anything, which is why I'm keeping it very simple, right? So if I come then back over to our automation table, we want, okay, let's just refresh this because we just added that in. Then just over to 2 tables, number of X, incredible. Okay, guys, cool. Now on the upsert thing, one of the things we need to do is give it a record ID. The question is, how on earth do you find that? Well, look, let me show you. If I come back over then to Airtable, now what I've done, I could put the number 9, okay? Now, how do you find the record ID for any given cell? Well, Airtable actually gives you a unique ID for every single cell that exists. But the way you find it out is you expand it. And one of the things you'll notice is that the URL itself changes, okay? And in the URL, you're gonna come down, I'm just gonna put it in here so you can see. What you're looking for is where it says rec, and you copy everything up to the question mark like so, right? Then delete this, and I'll put in the messages will be 9. And I'll hit, oops, enter. Cool, come off. Is that 9? Awesome. Then we come back over to our scenario. But let's run this one once. So come to the record ID. I hit enter, and then we will click OK. Now this will upsert. So let's just say we give it, let's say we want to change it from the number 9 to the number 10. Okay, like so. Click OK, come back, and then let's run this module once. There we go. Number of messages 10. If we come back over to Airtable, we should see 10. And there you go, it's changed to 10. So that's how we're always going to update that one particular field. And then what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take a screenshot of this. We're going to come back over to Bolt. Now, look, there's many things you could do. For example, what we could do then, if I wanted to turn, let's say each time this automation runs, it's actually worth to us, I don't know, maybe it's worth $200. What we could do then is have something that converts that number to some dollar amount. We could do that in Airtable. We could add a ChatGPT or Claude module within our automation that does that. And so actually the financial number itself keeps increasing over time. And then Bolt just simply grabs that number and then brings it straight into automation, which is insane. You can imagine the possibility of this. What I'm doing as well for this video, I'm doing a bonus video of how you integrate Stripe within Bolt. It'll be my community live. When this video goes live, I'm going to push it alongside there just for everybody inside the community. Now we come over to Bolt. This is done. We connect to the dashboard. What I'm also going to say to it, I'm going to say, hey, I would like a field on the dashboard, which is, what do we call this actually? I should check. Number of messages. Grab this number is in, I'd say, what was it, like the second sheet of Airtable. Here is a photo of the name of the, I guess, column. And then we just enter like so. And then we're going to click on go like that. And then it will do the updates. And then we can test that everything works properly. In addition to that, what we'll also do, guys, is send it a message and see how that works and connects together. Okay, so allegedly this is done. Let's come back over then and share the thing and see where we're at. We've got the, oops, oh my goodness. Right, we've got this. Let's come back over to Bolt and try it. Add table ID, connect to dashboard. Awesome. Let's see if this loads up. And we are in, which is cool. We've got a couple of problems. Cool. Let's just check out what's happened here. So something's happened in the financial overview. Cool. Let's just attempt fix and get that sorted. All right. Allegedly, this has been fixed. So we come back. We'll log in now, connect to the dashboard like so. Give that a second. Cool. We've got the AI assistant. We've got lots of cool stuff. And then let's see if we see total messages is 10, well, is that true? Well, what we're going to do, guys, first of all, is we're going to test the AI system, and we could add anything we want here. We could also embed Calendly links into Bolt.New so our clients can book conversations with us, which is like, it's like a one-stop shop for everything they ever need. I just think it looks so flippin' sick, guys. Let's check it out. Connect to dashboard. I'm logging in. I'm waiting for things to happen. Boom, I'm here. Well, what's going on with my automations? What's going on with my income, my efficiencies? Okay, so it's pretty cool. How many messages have I had? I've had 10. All right, sweet. Well, look, I've got questions about this. I've got things I want to ask, right? So let's test this out. We've got our automation here. We need to then connect these guys together. What we probably want to add then is a actual like ChatGPT module, a Claude module to basically give us a better thing. But Claude, we're going to throw this little bad boy in here. We'll connect those together. Let's bring this one over. Max tokens is going to be 4,000. Now, in reality, guys, what you would do is you would use the automation I showed you earlier, which is here, okay, where we have our responder brain, which pulls all this data down from Pinecone. Don't worry if that doesn't make sense. I've not shown you what that looks like in this video. That's in the video that I'll show you on screen now, and of course inside the group. But just for simplicity's sake, to demonstrate how flipping cool this is, we're going to messages. The other thing I would encourage you to do is use tone of voice, which is exactly what I do on this automation. You see, this guy right here has got all your tone of voice as well. So it is exactly what you sound like. So the messages sound like they're talking to you. So it's coming from AI Jack or whatever you want, which is another cool thing we launched on our school community recently. So user, content, type, let's just say text. The other thing we could do as well, guys, if you want, is we can give it all the data from Airtable. So let's say, hey, you're a friendly, basically say, hey, respond to the customer in the best way you can. Bam. Now, this is the worst prompt in the history of prompts, okay? Cool, guys. So what we're going to do is we are going to run the scenario once. Okay, something references non-existing modules. That's not great. Okay, let's come back over, and we want the text response, and let's full screen this. Cool. There we go, beautiful. Let's run this module once. Now, obviously, when you go live and use the automation I shared, it will have like a consistent chat history. So keep pulling through all the chat. So the way we're going to set this one up, so if I come then back over to, let's see, Bolt.New, I'm going to say, hey, how's your day? And I'll hit enter. Thinking, you couldn't connect to the server. That's not amazing. Let's see what happened. Did it send it back? Well, did we give that? Let me just see actually. Okay. What we didn't do is add the query in. Okay, cool. Right. So let's run this one more time. Come back. Let's come back over to Bolt. Let's ask it the same question. Hey, how's your day? Couldn't connect to the server. So what do? We come off and we say, hey, the chatbot says that it couldn't connect to the server. On each message, please send the entire chat history in one part to the webhook. Respond, basically display the reply in the same chat window. Boom, hit enter. Then we just troubleshoot Bolt, make sure that happens. And the beauty of that, guys, it basically means that every time you ask a question, if there's a conversation that's evolving, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Well, how about this? Well, how about that? Basically, it'll have full and complete context every single time. And because it has such full and complete context, we're going to call this one Responder Brain. And what I'd recommend that you do, guys, is you basically build this guy up, beef him up. Maybe the questions about your pricing, maybe the questions about whatever it is. Try and just create like the AI version of yourself here. Boom. And the other thing is, you got to think about it. Sometimes it's like show, don't tell. Like if you truly are at the cutting edge and innovative, you want to be having stuff like that in your group. Like in my school community, for example, one of the things we just launched was this thing called John Connor. So you'll notice like, well, this is sort of learning up. I'll just quickly show you this because is this guy still working yet? Basically, we have a level system, right? Where you start off at level 1, you're a fax machine, you get nothing, you're worth nothing. And you unlock things like $1,000 of software all up to free lifetime memberships. And it's themed, right? We've got the Terminator, all this cool stuff. So we launched John Connor and the fight against like, you know, the Terminators and stuff. And you can DM him and he's trained on all of my YouTube videos. And so he knows everything I've spoken about. So you could say, hey, what's the answer to this? And he'll actually DM and respond to you in John Connor theme to make things epic. So I just think it's really, really cool. We've got a Metaverse Meetup partner in 42 minutes. I'm going to jump on that once I finish recording this video for you. But I say that to say that like, yeah, it's just good to add these cool, amazing things. And because, you know, we have a tech support guarantee thing in our community anyway, but also like if you just want to get an answer, you can ask AI Jack or AI John Connor and he'll actually get it to you within a couple of minutes, which I think is really flipping cool. So we've been a lot of time building that with people in the community, Noel, Adam, you know, everyone in our community is flipping awesome. So let's go over here and let's copy this. We are going to copy the link, come back over like so, enter that into the Airtable. Cool. And now let's connect to the dashboard. Yeah, so a guy called Noel did a really good job building John Connor. He'll be very glad that it's live now. So AI Assistant, let's start with asking it a question. But first, of course, we need to run this scenario in the background. We'll come back over then to Bolt and we'll say, hey, broski, how's your day? Thinking, is it going to give a response? You couldn't reprocess our request. Let's have a look. So he's found a potential problem. Let's just chat error D. Let's just attempt the fix. Okay, so it's just been fixed. Total message attempt. So we're going to send it a question now. And what we're also going to do is this increment function here. The episode Airtable is going to be, let's change it hard code now from 10 to be the number, which is this guy. Cool. And what was it last time we did? It was 2. Sweet. So we'll run it one more time. We're going to hit on run this once. Come back over here. Oops, where are we now? Bolt. Cool. Hey, how's your day? Hit enter. Thinking. And see if it comes back and see what response we get back from that. Cool. I apologize, but your message seems incomplete or clear. Could you please provide more details of what you need help with? Cool. All right. Is that the answer that we got from ChatGPT? It is. And we said the number was what? Was 2. Pretty sweet. So if we come back over then and check on our thing, total messages is 2. Cool. I've just updated the number of messages. Let's try this one more time. Run this once. Come back over to Bolt. And we're going to say here something like, hey, how do I best market my social media marketing agency? Tell me in 20 words. But something crazy like that. Tell me to think, letting us know some cool stuff. But you've got a fully responsive there. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, if I come back over, this all completed. That's the response that we got. Tool increment function was 4. I come back over there. Let's just say that I want to maximize this out. I hit Airtable ID. We should see 4 messages at the top if it's worked properly, and has it, top messages 4. So guys, that is how we connect Make to Airtable to Bolt.New to create some incredible experiences. I hope you can see the potential of this because it is really flipping epic. Now, if you haven't already, watch this video. This video, guys, I actually think it's one of the sickest, like insane video. One of the comments on it recently said, this feels too good to be free. And I actually really, really love this video, and I think it'll bless you if you haven't tried it out yet. Lots of cool stuff. But in any case, guys, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video.